What if I told you that even the brightest minds in Silicon Valley have launched products so disastrous they almost brought down entire companies? We're talking billions lost, reputations shattered, and lessons so brutal they reshape the tech landscape forever. Get ready to dive deep into the epic fails of tech giants and uncover the shocking truths behind their biggest blunders. Forget the headlines about revolutionary success. Today, we're exposing the colossal failures that even tech titans try to bury. These aren't just minor missteps. They're strategic blunders and disastrous innovations that cost fortunes and taught harsh lessons. Prepare to see the dark side of Silicon Valley's ambition and discover what happens when even the most powerful companies crash and burn. You've heard about the triumphs, but what about the secret history of spectacular failures that shaped Silicon Valley? We're pulling back the curtain on the multi-billion-dollar flops and strategic miscalculations that even the biggest tech companies couldn't escape. Cover the hidden insights within these high-stakes debacles and learn why sometimes the greatest lessons come from the greatest mistakes. In the hallowed halls of innovation, where fortunes are forged and the future is coded into existence, there exists a graveyard of ghosts. These are not the celebrated triumphs that Grace magazine covers, but the colossal, earth-shattering failures. Projects that consumed billions, commanded armies of engineers, and were unveiled with messianic zeal, only to crash and burn with spectacular finality. Imagine the sheer gut-wrenching pressure of being at the helm of such a disaster. The weight of a multi-billion-dollar bet gone wrong. The deafening silence in a boardroom after the market's verdict is delivered. The slow, agonizing realization that your vision, your baby, is a catastrophic failure. This is the brutal, unforgiving side of Silicon Valley's relentless pursuit of progress. It's a world where the line between visionary and fool is razor thin, and where the pressure to innovate, to be the next big thing, can lead even the most brilliant minds down a path of epic miscalculation. Think of the engineers who poured years of their lives into a project, sacrificing weekends and family dinners, only to see it become a punchline. The pressure isn't just financial, it's a deeply personal, soul-crushing force. Consider the Google Glass. Launched with a futuristic skydiving demonstration and hailed as the dawn of wearable computing, it was a device born from pure, unadulterated ambition. It was supposed to seamlessly merge our digital and physical worlds. The promotional videos were slick, promising a life augmented by effortless information. But the reality was a jarring collision of vision and society. The device was clunky, its battery life was abysmal, and most critically, it carried a potent social stigma. Wearers were branded glassholes, seen as intrusive, privacy-invading symbols of tech elitism. The $1,500 price tag didn't help, creating a barrier that relegated it to a niche and often mocked demographic. Google, the titan of search and data, had fundamentally misread human behavior. They believed that technological capability alone would be enough to drive adoption. They failed to anticipate the powerful, visceral human reaction to a camera constantly pointed at the world. The pressure to lead the next technological wave blinded them to the simple fact that people weren't ready or willing to strap a computer to their face. The project was quietly shelved, a multi-hundred-million-dollar lesson in the importance of social acceptance and the humbling truth that not all problems can be solved with an algorithm. Then there was the Amazon Fire Phone, a device that stands as a monumental testament to corporate hubris. Jeff Bezos himself was the driving force behind this project. Personally invested in creating a smartphone that would funnel users directly into Amazon's sprawling ecosystem. The company poured unimaginable resources into its development, creating features like dynamic perspective, a 3D-like effect using head-tracking cameras, and Firefly, a tool for instantly identifying and buying products. On paper, it was a marvel of engineering, a physical manifestation of Amazon's commercial might. But in practice, it was a solution in search of a problem. The 3D effects were gimmicky and drained the battery. Firefly felt less like a convenience and more like a desperate, ever-present sales pitch. The phone was launched exclusively on AT&T, a crippling strategic error that limited its reach from day one. Consumers already loyal to Apple and Android saw no compelling reason to switch. The Fire Phone was an unmitigated disaster. Within months, Amazon was forced to take a $170 million write-down on unsold inventory and publicly admit defeat. It was a brutal public humbling for a company accustomed to dominating every market it entered. The failure was a stark reminder that even a powerful brand and a brilliant CEO cannot force a product onto a market that simply doesn't want it. The loneliness of a warehouse filled with millions of unwanted phones is a powerful metaphor for the isolation of a vision that fails to connect with a single customer. And who could forget the spectacular implosion of Microsoft's Kin? In 2010, Microsoft, desperate to capture the burgeoning youth market dominated by social media, launched two phones, the Kin 1 and Kin 2. These devices were designed from the ground up for the social generation. They weren't smartphones, were social phones, built around an experience called the Kin Studio, which aggregated feeds from Facebook, Twitter, and MySpace. Microsoft spent an estimated $1 billion on the project. From acquisition of the original company, Danger Inc., to development and a massive marketing blitz, they were so confident that they threw a lavish launch party with celebrity endorsements. But the project was doomed by a fatal lack of understanding of its target audience. The phones lacked basic features like a calendar, an app store, or even instant messaging. The data plans required by Verizon were absurdly expensive, putting them on par with far more capable smartphones like the iPhone. In a shocking display of market rejection, Microsoft pulled the Kin from stores just 48 days after its launch. It was one of the fastest and most expensive product failures in tech history. The Kin was a product born in a corporate boardroom, a caricature of what middle-aged executives thought young people wanted. It was a lesson written in billion-dollar ink. You cannot fake authenticity. The void left by the Kin wasn't just a financial hole. It was a chasm of misunderstanding, a glaring example of a tech giant completely out of touch with the very culture it was trying to monetize. These stories aren't just tales of corporate misfortune. They are the battle scars of innovation. They reveal the immense pressure, the crushing loneliness of a failed vision, and the brutal reality of a market that serves as the ultimate judge. The ghosts of the Google Glass, the Amazon Fire Phone, and the Microsoft Kin still haunt the corridors of Silicon Valley. They are cautionary tales whispered in meetings, stark reminders that for every celebrated unicorn, there are countless fallen giants. They teach a lesson more valuable than any success story, that hubris is the ultimate downfall, that understanding human nature is more critical than any line of code, and that sometimes the most profound progress is born not from flawless victory, but from the ashes of a spectacular, world-shaking failure. These failures force a pause, a moment of reflection in the relentless forward march of technology. They are the silent, empty spaces where the loudest lessons are learned.